Monday night up at Citi Field was humiliating.
Yes.
Last night was soul-crushing.
What's funny, because I was on with Andrew, and I thought, gosh, it would have been a lot easier to stomach if I saw a little fight. And I realized, nope, I was wrong.
Nope.
I was wrong. It's still awful.
Throwing a counter punch and then having another punch thrown right back at you and knocking you out, actually worse than just not showing up to the fight at all.
And also, when you see the punch coming and you know that it's going to happen, you know it's coming, and yet you don't do anything to avoid it.
So the Phillies lose last night. The Mets walk it off. 6-5, the final there up at Citi Field. They've now lost 2 in a row to the Mets. A team that yesterday I pretty much just kicked and screamed talking about how the fact that they are in the Phillies' head. You could see it mentally with this team. And last night, Jesus Luzardo, I don't want to say unravels, but definitely was rattled by what happened. He obviously comes off the mound screaming at the umpire. He clearly didn't like it. And to his credit, I think that umpire stunk last night. He stunk on both sides.
Yes.
You could be upset at him, but you could see just how much it bothered him by a guy that doesn't usually get bothered by things, at least strike-wise, because I do think he gets rattled with runners on base.
He struck out Soto, I think, twice.
Yeah. So to have that reaction, he was clearly bothered. Kirk Gehring melted down. The late game, I have the 7th inning and the 9th inning. You got 2, 3, 4 in your lineup. Schwarber, Harper, Realmuto in the lineup. 7 pitches they faced in the 7th inning, 10 pitches they faced in the 9th inning. In either case, both innings, they end up going down, just 3 of them. Just overall, another terrible night. And this team is killing me, slowly. They're breaking me, slowly.
Not enough for you to quit them.
No, I already spent the money to go up there tonight. So I'm going up there tonight. I'm going to try and save this season. But for what we've watched, it's one of those, what do I even believe with this team right now? And ultimately, they are a good baseball team. But they are a good baseball team that we talked about it yesterday. And it was a tweet I sent out at the end of last season. I watched that final out. Season's over. Turn out the lights. We're a couple days away from the longest press conference of all time with Thompson and Dombrowski. And my takeaway from the season was this is a group that bashed their way back into relevance. They brought them back to the postseason. This core brought them back. And I thought there was going to be changes. So I thought that was what their legacy was going to be. Bash them back into relevance, but didn't quite capture the magic long enough to do it. And the second part of that tweet was me saying this team, when underdogs, were able to flip the script, but also had the script flipped on them every time when they became the favorites.
Right.
They go up 2-1 in the World Series. They don't win another game in that World Series. They get the Diamondbacks of all teams and can't get that done. They get the Mets and couldn't get that done. And right now, you're looking at a team that went up there with every reason to be the favorite in that series. Every reason to be able to beat that Mets team. Monday night, they no-showed after the 3rd inning. And Tuesday night, they just didn't have it. They just did not have the energy to get back into that game. And the guy that brings them back into that game is a guy who hasn't lived through all the trauma here in Harrison Bader. He crushes that home run, ties the game.
He thinks everything's fine.
Yeah, he's like, all right, sweet, we're back in this thing. Rest of that lineup, the big names in that lineup, those last 2 innings I laid out for you, 7 pitches. Got Schwarber, Harper, and Realmuto in the 7th. 10 pitches, got Schwarber, Harper, and Realmuto in the 9th. 15 strikeouts from this lineup last night.
Yeah.
2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Turner was 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, and he had those type of at-bats where it looks like the entire weight of the world is on his shoulders when he's swinging. Monday night was a humiliating loss. Last night was a soul-crushing loss. And for this team right now, it's in their head. Citi Field is in their head, and they can continue to deny it after the game. They're like defiant. Like, no, this is just baseball. It's just how it happened. No. We're watching you. We're watching you and the way you react to everything that's happening out there. We're watching you and the way that you play up there at Citi Field. It's gross. It's gross. The Mets have their number in a way that I can't remember the Mets having their number when the two sides have been relevant.
It's funny, I always think about something Chris Wheeler used to say, it's a goofy game. And it is. Like, baseball has some wacky things. All of a sudden, sometimes it doesn't go your way. But for it to be one team where it's never going your way, especially at Citi Field, it reminds me of a number of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, where Phillies couldn't beat the Marlins no matter what happened. It was the Marlins came here, they lost to them. The Marlins they went to Florida, they lost there in Miami. But to have it against the team like the Mets, knowing the history, knowing how last season ended, and then to continue it, especially at Citi Field. 9 straight losses now at Citi Field. Is that right?
Yep.
I mean, come on. Like what? There's jinxes, and there's kind of like I would have Sage in that clubhouse right now, the visiting clubhouse, or in the dugout, because there's some bad juju going on, and to not get a win. I know they talk about like, listen, we're still in. You are in good shape, but to not get a win with the importance of the Mets chasing you, and obviously the wild card as well, and just the fact that you have that rivalry. You know the rivalry, you recognize it so much that you got special cleats and gloves, but you don't recognize it enough that you actually have to get the win. I don't know. It was a fluky game, and I think if Monday hadn't happened and I just saw Tuesday, I thought, well, that's just sometimes the way the cookie crumbles. Right. But the fact there's been 2 of those, and they have such wonky things that happen in the game to the Phillies, I was like, now they're snake bit. They can't win there.
They're pressing. They're pressing right now to try and get a win up there and to try and beat a team that coming into the series, some people wanted to say the division was over. I was waiting to see how this series went.
No.
Clearly, I can't declare anything. No. If they took 2 or 3 up in New York, I was ready to say, guess what? You've got a 7-game lead. You're in or what, at that point,
no,
it'd be 8.
Would have been, yeah.
Yeah, you have an 8-game lead. You only have 4 left against them. I'm ready to call it. Tonight, I could be driving home from Citi Field. They're only up 4 games with 4 still left to play against this team. They have been atrocious up there, and there have been plenty of reasons on the field for us to be upset about the way they've played up there. But for me, it's so much more the mentality. It's so much more just the way you see them wear it, where you know it's wearing on them. Mm-hmm. You know they're thinking about it. And after the game, they'll tell you, no, it's just a building. No, it's just a game. It's just a game. I don't know how to fix it for this group. I really don't. I don't know how to fix it for this Mets team. And they point out today on the morning show, they won 5 series in a row after they lost 3 straight up at Citi Field earlier this year. It doesn't take away from who they are as a team, but it takes away at least from what I'm going to think about them in the postseason if they can't manage being the favorite. If they can't manage going somewhere and, again, walking in there as the better team, it's kind of the sum of all your fears coming out at the end of August with a team that you, for most of the summer, we've complained, we've nitpicked, but overall was 20 games over 500 coming into this.
First place, you're thinking it does take some of the shine off of it because you think about it's hard not to, kind of extrapolate this conundrum that is losing in Citi Field and the epic ways that they've done it, whether it's getting blown out or these wonky ways that we saw last night, whether it's getting squeezed, some of the missed plays, the odd throws that players are coming up with, or the non-throws in certain cases. But then you're thinking, it's hard not to then push that to October because when the stakes are highest, you would think the Mets game is a high priority game. And I know these guys always say it's one game at a time. It's not always one game at a time. There are games that you take a little bit more serious. Whether they acknowledge them or not, that's just the way that it is. You recognize the rivalry. You know it's a team that's chasing you in the standings, that you only had now, a 5-game lead. You started with a 7, and then you're hoping to keep it at that. But then you've got 4 more against them. So it's a higher leverage game. And you never have more higher leverage games than in October. And so it's hard not to equate the two, or at least think about it.
And it just shows you how far they haven't come.
Yeah.
Really. Because you're sitting there and you're watching them lose 2 games at Citi Field and you say, when was the last time? Oh, I saw that in April. Before that, the last time I saw that was last October. Yep. And it's just like, all right, you can do all you want. You could go get an incredible closer that we'll talk about the struggles that he had last night. You could go get a new center fielder and try and rearrange your outfield. You can go acquire a new starting pitcher who has an incredible start to the season, but last night doesn't get you through 5. There are so many ways you could try and reshuffle the deck here, and you're still ending up with the same results that you were last year. It's the idea that little has changed with this group, with the way they play up at Citi Field. And the coward in you is just going to be a Reds fan for the rest of the season and hope the Mets get themselves run out of the postseason.
Exactly.
But what does it show you about this group that they're not able to mentally get past a team that was 13 games under 500 in their last 61? They were 24-37 after they went up. Their highest total above 500 was 21 games. Since that point in June, they were 24-37 coming into the series.
Yeah, they've been leaking serious oil.
And you've been outclassed left and right by them in the first 2 games of this series. It's unbelievable. Coming up, we're going to get into the finer points of last night's game.
There pitching. Are finer points?
Yes. The pitching concerns that come out of last night's game, whether it be someone out of the bullpen, whether it be the starting pitcher, whether it be the closer. What can we make of the fiasco up there at Citi Field? And towards the bottom of the hour, I have a hypothetical for you. That if I could guarantee you wouldn't run into the Mets, what would you give up?
Okay.
I have something specific for people to give up.
All right.
Would they be willing to do so? That's coming up later on in the hour. She's Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn. Take you through middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Hey, it's Ray Dunn from the Midday Show. Thank you so much for watching our content. If you want more videos, you can click right here. Or how about you subscribe right here so you stay in the know on all that's coming from 97.5 The Fanatic.